All right, so in part one, 2 weeks ago, we learned why use Workapps. We seek to understand, well, who can access Workapp, what are the various permission levels, and we started building the Workapp. So we set up, use a template approach. We built from scratch as well one Workapp that we started that we're going to continue the journey today. We set up the theme, we set up roles and permissions, and then we also published. So today, our focus today is going to be adding pages to our Workapp that we started last week. So now if you don't have the Workapp from last week and you weren't there, I'm going to show you quickly on how to set up your own Workapp in the first couple of minutes so you can actually follow along. And I would encourage you to actually log into Smartsheet and follow along with us as we are building our Workapp. So today we're going to add to what we built last week. So we're going to be adding pages. We're going to be configuring roles and permissions. We're going to publish it, test it. We're also going to be looking at mobile view in terms of how the Workapp looks on a mobile app as well. And then we're going to discuss the various types of pages. So Smartsheet content, forms, web content, and such. Okay. All right. So there are a couple of slides where I need to kind of walk through the types of pages and permission levels. So let's go through that first, and then we're going to go right into building the app together today. Okay. All right, so what are the types of content that you can have in a Workapp? So of course, your standard Smartsheet content like sheets, reports, and forms, and dashboards can all be added into a Workapp. We can also add resource management, views, and reports by Smartsheet. So for those who use Smartsheet resource management, there's the ability to add that content as well. And then we can add web content or external content such as dashboards and Tableau or Google Docs or others as well. And we'll take a look at an example of that today as well. All right, permissions. So what are the different kinds of permissions at a page level that individuals have access to? So one is the editor. Editor is what it says, what it means. And now the editor has complete access to edit the rows, cells, and add any attachments. You can't edit the structure of the content. So for example, if there's a sheet assigned to you as an editor, you can't add columns and change the column type, but you can add and edit the content of the sheet. So that's the difference between a typical editor in Smartsheet versus an editor in Workapp. So please keep that in mind. Second is a viewer. So those who only have view access, they can view the data and content within the published page. Viewers can also fill out forms that you can give them access to in the Workapp. And finally, hidden. So the individuals or collaborators who may not have access to certain pages. So for example, when we add our pages, we can configure the access level for the individuals as well. So we can provide them either editor, viewer, or hidden where they won't be able to see that particular content or a page. Okay. All right, so let's start building up your Workapp. So as you can see that we had built a app last time, which was the project management app. So I'm going to go ahead and click on that. And that's the app that we started building. So for those who missed it last time, what I'm going to show is I'm going to show you the ability to set up your own app. So I'm going to go back to Workapp's home. You click on Create App, and then click on From Scratch. And then you title the app, and then start adding pages. So as simple as that. We're not going to go into customizing the logos and look and feel at this point because that was part of the first session. But I just wanted to show you this to create your own app so that you can follow along as part two as we're adding pages today. Okay. All right. So again, create new app, and then give a title, and then you'll be ready to start adding pages like I'm going to be showing you today. Okay. All right. So we're going to go back to our app's home, and I'm going to go ahead and edit my app for project management. Okay. As you can see, I already have a page added. Now, Workapp doesn't let you publish the app without actually adding a page. So we added a page last time because this is our project management app. So we added a project plan just to get this thing published. But now we'll be adding more pages and then talking about roles and permissions at the page level. So I'm going to go ahead and click on Add Pages and click here. Now you can see there are three types of content that we can add. So within Smartsheet, I'm going to click on Smartsheet content, and we're going to go ahead and add a couple of Smartsheet content. So I'm going to go ahead and start searching. I have some of my content ready to go. So I'm going to say test one project dashboard. So I'm going to add that. And then once I choose the content, it automatically gives me a pop-up and asks me, who do you want this content to have access? Here, I can just leave it all default and move on, and I can always come back and configure, or I can configure it here. So in this case, I want the leadership team to be a viewer on the dashboard. And as you can see, dashboard, you don't have edit permission. So automatically, based on the particular type of the content, Smartsheet automatically identifies what permission it can actually grant by default. So you can choose in here because of the dashboard, you only have a choice between viewer or hidden. So in leadership team, I'm going to give them access to the dashboard. Project manager, I'm going to give them access to the dashboard. And for the team member, I'm going to keep it hidden. Okay. All right. So you know what? I'm going to give it viewer as well so we can see all three. All right. So click on add. So my dashboard is now added. Okay, I'm going to add my next page, another Smartsheet content, and I'm going to add the report. So I've read tasks, red, yellow tasks. So click on that. And in this case, as you can see, now I have more choices because it's a report. I can now give editor access, viewer, and hidden access. So for leadership team, we don't want to show them the report. So we'll keep this as a hidden. Project manager, we definitely want to give them editor access, and then team member, we definitely want to give them editor access as well. Okay, so you can click on add, and that report is now added, and you can see it looks like just like a report how I would pull it in Smartsheet core app. Okay, the next is I want to go ahead and add a form. So I'm going to click on add page form, just like that. And it's going to ask me for the unique URL for the form and what I want to call the form as. So I have already a form set up here that I want to add. What I need to do is I need to pull the URL for this form, the public URL. So I clicked on open form, or you can click on share form. It gives you the URL. So in this case, I have the URL open. I'm going to copy the form URL just like that. Copy. Come back to my Workapp and paste it here. Okay, and I'm going to click on page name. So I'm going to type the page name. So I'm going to say my form is it says risk issue decision log. So I can copy that if I wanted to, or I can type it. I'll be lazy and I'm going to copy it and click on next. Okay, in this case, I'm going to give viewer to project manager and to the team member, so they can both add risks, actions, issues, and decisions onto my project. And the leadership team will still stay as hidden. Click on add, and there it is. It gives you a preview of the form, and my form object is now added. Okay, the last piece that we will add is going to be a web content. So in this case, I'm going to add content from a Google Doc. So what I would like to do as a project manager, I want to give access to my team members to my meeting notes. And that's a good use case for a project management app where all my meeting notes is in one place. So I'm going to go ahead and click on the web content. Similar window appears similar to the form. The only difference is that in the backend, Smartsheet recognizes a form versus a web content a bit differently. So you can't typically take the form add page and throw a web widget or vice versa. So you have to choose the appropriate action. So in this case, we're adding a web content. That's what I chose. I'm going to give it a page name. I'm going to call it meeting notes. And then I'm going to go ahead and go to my Google Docs, which I've already prepared. And I have a Google Docs set up with permission. In this case, anyone with link, and I've given a viewer access. But I can change that to editor access, and it's going to give me a link for editor access. Now you could set it up so that it's restricted with login. If that's the case, then the person or your team members that are going to get access to Workapp, they can have to log in with their Google ID to be able to access the particular object. So in this case, to keep things simple, I have anyone with link, give editor access, copy link similar to the form. I'll come here and insert my link. And then as you can see, it already gives me a preview of my Google Doc. So I'll click next. Again, hidden for the leadership team viewer. Now in this case, it's showing you as a viewer, but because the object itself has edit permission, which is the Google Doc, it will give us access to edit the meeting notes. Okay, so in here's a viewer and viewer. Click on add, and here I have, and you can see because it's recognizing me as a logged in Google user, it's showing me my name as I'm typing. So if I'm collaborating with someone and they've also logged in, you can see that. Now, because I had given access to anybody with link to edit, that may not apply for those who are not logging in, right? So I can actually, when I'm in the app, I can actually go ahead and start, typing stuff in my, and there it is. I can type, and it lets me edit as well. Okay. All right. All my objects are now added. So we've added the recap. We've added a sheet, which we added last time. We've added a project plan, dashboard. We've added a report. We've added a form, and we've added a web content, which is a Google Doc for my meeting notes. Okay. All right. So now what we're going to do is we're going to look at the roles and permissions and look at reordering pages, right? So we've looked at the permission type, editor versus hidden versus viewer, and we were setting it up and configuring them as we're going through the roles. Now we're going to go into the roles themselves, and for each role, we can do unique configurations and make it more curated for that particular user. So I'll go into roles, and the first one is leadership team. So I'll click on leadership team. And within leadership team, it shows me there are people that are added to the leadership team and the page permission. So the way I got to it, let me just show you again. I click on the leadership team, the name of the role. When I do that, it shows me people that are assigned, and then the page permission tab. So I've got two different tabs. Here's where I would add more people if I wanted to, and I would also set up the page permission. Okay, so as you can see, the page permissions I have, I'm a viewer on the project plan, I'm a viewer on the dashboard, and everything else is hidden. But as a leader in the organization, I would like to see the dashboard first. So to sort that in a chronological order or an order of how you want them to see it, all you have to do is grab the object on the, with these little dots, and then move it and sequence it. So when I log in as a leader, I will see the dashboard first, and then I will see the project plan. This is also the place where I could change the permission type if I wanted to. So if let's say I wanted the leadership team to see a report, I would simply come and change that here with this drop down. Okay. Now, as you can see, there's no save button here. It's automatically saving all my changes. So I'm going to go back to my roles, come back and make sure those changes are saved. And you can see my sequencing has been changed to showing the dashboard first. I'm going to make a change because I want to show you the mobile apps later. So I'm going to actually remove this user from the leadership team. Okay. And then I'm going to go and add into project manager. I'm going to add this user as a project manager, so I have more access. And then page permission, you can see same thing for the project manager. I want to see the dashboard first. Then I have the project plan, but I want to be an editor on the project plan. So I want to change that setting here. This is my report. I'm the editor on the report, and I have can edit my meeting notes because of the permissions that we set up in Google. And I also have the access to the log, which is the form. Okay, so these are my objects, and as you can see, all my permissions are set up. Back to roles, team member, same thing, page permissions, and you can rearrange that as needed. Okay. All right, so please start putting questions in to the chat as we're kind of getting to starting to publish this app. So if you have any questions, please start to post those there so we can take them in the end of the session. All right, so now we're going to go ahead and publish the app. We talked about publishing it last time, so it's literally clicking the button on publish and wait for it to be published. So once this gets published, we are going to be able to see the live app in action with different roles. So if you give a couple of minutes, and here we go, we have the app published. Let's go to the view desktop version of the app. And because I'm the administrator, I can toggle between all the roles, as I mentioned last time. So I'm going to look at the leadership team, and I can see as a leadership team, I have access to the dashboard. While I'm in view access only for the dashboard, I can still interact with the dashboard as I would normally within the Smartsheet app. I also have access to my project plan, but in here, since I am only a viewer, I can't do much with it other than just view. Right? So moving on to the project manager role, I'm going to, and I can maybe make it a little bigger so it's easier. Again, I can interact with my dashboard, but let's see what happens when I go to my meeting minutes and I have edit permissions. So these are test notes, right? So I can edit that, right, and collaborate with other team members and put my meeting notes there for my meetings. Let's go to a form, and I can completely interact with the form and submit a form. Let's go looking at a report. If you look at the report, I can attach files just like how I would on Smartsheet core app. I can put comments in, and I can also change the various elements that I am allowed to change as an editor. So again, I put add risk. I can change the task name and so on and so forth within the report. As well. And then I've got my project plan, same thing. I have access to updating the project plan, and I have, edit access there as well. Okay. All right. So this is a kind of a quick test and a show of how the desktop app would look like within the Workapp. What we're going to do now is we're going to go to the mobile version of it. So give me a moment while I bring that up. Okay, so here's my mobile version of the app that you can see on the screen. This is my my iPhone, and you can see what I did is I basically went to at the bottom of the screen. I went to access Workapps. So this is when you are in Smartsheet mobile app. There are 4 tabs. At the bottom, there's a Workapp tab. So you click on the Workapp tab, which I did, and then it shows me all my Workapps. So I'm going to click on this particular Workapp on my phone, and you can see it is coming up. And you will see that I had set the dashboard as my default, which is now showing as when I launched the Workapp. Okay, and then you can see this is my portrait view. I can turn my phone over, and it will now show me a very nice landscape view of the dashboard, and I can interact with the dashboard on my phone. And I'm scrolling this back and forth on my phone, as you can see, and it gives me a really nice desktop view. You can see on the right-hand side, there is a toggle. So I have the ability on the mobile app to switch to a mobile view on the desk, on my phone as well. So because the dashboard is harder to see, Smartsheet defaults it to more of a desktop view on the mobile app and encourages you to go into landscape mode. But I can simply click on the mobile view, and you can see the dashboard changes. And now I can see it more from mobile view as well. Personally, I'm not much of a fan of the mobile view because it becomes too much scrolling, but it does give you the ability to actually look at each of the widget much more focused, if you will. So I'm going to move back on the desktop view, and you can see that my desktop is back with my dashboard. For me to be able to click and see other pages, all I have to do is click on this hamburger menu on the left-hand side. So I'm going to do that on my phone now, like so. And you can see all my elements are now here. So I can go to my project plan, and that will come up. And of course, this is showing up in a mobile view as well. And I can click on the consolidated view as well, just to be able to see that. If I go to the go to the portrait view, it changes that as well. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and go to the report view, and you can see my report is there, and I can switch to the desktop version, and really neat the ability to actually interact with my report as well as needed. Tasks to be set up as read, and so on and so forth, putting comments as needed, and including comments within that as well. So now I'm going to go to the form view, and here's my form, and I have same access. And let's go to the meeting notes on Google, and let's see how that looks like. Pretty neat in that sense. You know, Google recognizes that you, or the phone recognizes that you're actually using a Google Docs. So actually, you can click on edit the app, and if you have access, you can do that. I'm going to go to the desktop, the landscape view, and you can see I can access and I can edit the app as well, and start to put my notes appropriately as well. Okay, all right. So that is the view for the mobile app. And again, this is actually one of the huge benefits of Workapps, to be able to give your collaborators access to a tightly knit packaged app within Smartsheet, and provide a curated view for them to access a particular solution using Workapps.